Taylor was born a healthy little boy on January 4th of 1996. And I remember getting a coffee cup that said, "Thursday's child has far to go," and thinking that that would mean that he was going to be this big successful man, and that, we just had so many things to look forward to in our lives. And little did I know that Thursday's child having far to go would mean that he would develop heart disease we discovered he had a heart problem at the age of 3. However, at the age of 1, he started having some respiratory problems where he had trouble breathing.
Here he came in on a Friday afternoon and he was very sick again, and got an x-ray on him and saw that he had another pneumonia, and I thought that was strange that such a young child was having so many pneumonias. And by the by, we saw that his heart was becoming enlarged, and that's when he was diagnosed with the cardiomyopathy.
The lady came in and told us that he was going to need an emergency heart transplant. And honestly, at that point, I did not know even what a heart transplant was. So they, began to try to explain it to us. And
90 people in the U.S. die every day waiting for organ transplants. It's a very difficult process. I think the average wait is about a year. In Taylor's case, it was a little longer because he had certain antigens that were unusual, so he was a little bit more difficult match. Once you harvest an organ, you only have 4 hours to transplant it. So you need to be in the vicinity of your transplant center.
We immediately began our journey of going home and packing and getting ready to move to Houston. We were blessed with an organ on May 1st of 2000 from a very generous family.
That was quite the day when we got the call for his first transplant. He was, the first few years were hard. He had multiple episodes of rejection and was in the hospital a number of times. He was in the ICU a number of times.
When he turned about 13, 14, we started to notice that where the exercise, his lips would turn blue, or we would notice that he was more tired. The transplant team determined that he could no longer do sports, and the thought that he was not going to ever be able to play football was hard, because that was his dream, was to play football. And also, when he was little, he wanted a soccer heart. He's done so many things because of the blessing of a new heart.
Throughout the years, Taylor was very active, but he started getting more tired. He started sleeping more, missing more school. So that's when basically we noticed that his heart function was going downhill.
I was very worried and very sad. I didn't want to leave, and I was in denial myself because I didn't want to repeat the process of going through a second transplant, because I knew that I would have to move away from Corpus and not see my friends and family for a long time.
Because of the severity of the heart problem and the heart disease, all of his other organs were having to work overtime in order to compensate for the defect in the heart. And we were at one point hospitalized, and they had explained to us that he was now experiencing arrhythmias where the heart was actually stopping and was starting back up. And I can't tell you how many times from a mother's side, how I would have to just go in the night and check to make sure he was still breathing. Or he became a very deep sleeper. And so there were some mornings I'd go in and I'd be trying to wake him up and he wouldn't respond right away. And my first fear was that he wasn't going to get it in time.
My mom's been great support in my life. She, when we found out we needed another heart, she dropped everything that she had here in Corpus and took me up to Houston to receive another heart. And we had to leave my sister. So she's the #1 mom in the world. My mom brought the phone into the room, and I remember she told me that they have a heart for me, and I was ecstatic, but I was also the first thing that came to my head was, do I have time to shower? Because I know after I get that heart and everything done, I wasn't gonna be able to shower for weeks. Recovering, it was just a long process, and every morning they would come and draw my blood. Sometimes they couldn't get it because they drawn it the previous day, so it would take me sometimes 5 tries to 15 tries. And they would try from my arms all the way down to my feet, just putting needles in me.
Going up there the second time was not like the first time. He was in the ICU for weeks and had 6 and 7 drips running, had 4 chest tubes. It was the scariest thing I've ever seen. As you can see, Taylor's a fighter. He's one of the most amazing patients I've seen. He won't tell you that, his mom won't tell you that, but the people in Houston know that. We were all scared. It was hard. It was hard. He was there for a long time, and it's just different.
The community was actually a big part of my support. I received letters and cards, probably like over 200 cards of just get well, stay strong.
You know, our community in Corpus was so generous in helping us with their prayers and their cards and their financial support. And, you know, we truly know that Corpus is a family and have taught us what it means to be a real family. 3
friends in particular that I met my first transplant. One boy's name is Calvin, and then there's a little girl named Hannah, and then there's another boy named Cy. But I would say Hannah's my closest friend. I called her Hannah Banana. And she lived in Austin. She died, I want to say 5 years ago, from she wasn't doing very well with her heart, and she had passed away, and it was a sad day. She was like my closest friend that I met while getting a heart transplant, and we went up there to visit her, and she came down here to visit us. And her, I know it was hard for her family, but her family went to see me in Houston. I was grateful that they went to see me because their daughter went through the same thing that I did. I got a chance to live it again, and she didn't.
Taylor is currently involved in 15 research projects at Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, along with the American Heart Association. You know, Taylor currently takes about 15 pills twice a day. And, you know, we would like them to find research that would help these kids not to develop coronary artery disease, you know, so that, you know, we wouldn't need another heart transplant. You know, and Taylor has many, many friends who have lost their lives to heart disease because research did not keep up as fast as it could have. This experience has taught me that, one, that all 3 of us are much stronger than I had ever dreamed we would. And this experience has also shown us the value of every day and living your life to the fullest.
Taylor is doing great today, as you can see. He's a typical teenager, he drives, he goes out with his friends, he's super healthy, super positive. I think his prognosis is excellent, and with the research and new techniques and better medication, hopefully we see nothing but great things for his future.